Well, welcome to Football Uncensored Podcast, brought to you by Wave, the new taxi concept for London cab drivers to top up earnings during COVID-19 and beyond. I'm Don Shanks. Today I'm joined by Alan Hudson and John Sitton. Good afternoon,
nice
gentlemen.
Nice
Everybody okay?
Pleased to meet you, Don.
Well, we're talking football. We've got lots to talk about. We've had a couple of Premier League games on Monday evening. We had the Villa beat Sheffield United, Alan, 1-0. Your man, Grealish, looked good?
It was a difference, yeah. I feel sorry for the manager of Sheffield United. He's had a few nightmares at Villa Park. He just can't get a win there. Things keep going wrong. They had the goal last year, disallowed goal. This year they missed a penalty. And if they got a penalty, I don't think Villa would have won. But I'm glad they did because I backed them. And Jack
kept that one quiet, yeah.
Well, we're in the casino, aren't we? We do like a bet. Jack Grealish was the difference between the two teams, in all fairness, and he's my man.
I thought John McGinn looked quite well. He's in the thick of the things.
Do you like him?
Yeah, he's he's fit now. He looks as though he's getting right back into playing his top games. Well, John, we had Wolves as well. Wolves played Man City. Man City ended up winning 3-1. They got a late goal.
Yeah.
They're favourites to win the league in front of Liverpool. You know, not a lot in it, but do you think Man City could pull it off again this year or win it this year?
They could do. I mean, I think the problem's going to be similar to how it was last year. If they've got a weakness, possibly, it's going to be at the back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
they have been trying to buy a player here or there, but they've not actually got him yet, I don't think.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is eerie, all this, because someone put me onto the thing last night about just going off at a tangent slightly, Netflix, about the rules for life, coaching rules for life. And then what I deduced from watching the first couple of episodes, I'm on the tennis coach now at the minute, but the geezer, they had Jose on first, which I'm sure you're going to come to. And it's almost as if they want these type of people, dare I say it, they want the finished article. There's not a lot going on there with regards to the drilling them and you know, I think this probably the category he falls into, Stones. You know what I mean? Where he's come a tumble because the clubs like City, they want the finished article. I
mean, obviously at the back there is a little bit of a problem. They are conceding goals. Do you think you can get yourself back in shape and make a comeback?
Yeah, well, I'm only 4 stone. I'm only 4 stone over me playing weight. It's all the stress on the road, Don. You know, as soon as I get stressed, I reach down for like a bag of crisps. I mean, Cabby's Derby now. I got.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking pretty good, City. I mean, De Bruyne obviously, Phil Foden's sort of like coming back after his little trip to Iceland and.
Can I just endorse what Alan said there about Grealish? Because I've been screaming on social media. I've been screaming on the rooftops about Grealish. And it was even such a goal. I messaged a pal of mine on TalkSport, Adrian Durham, and I said he should start getting game time for England now. And I said, but I bet you he only gets on as sub, and it became like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think that the fact that he's homegrown talent, he's a Villa supporter. I think Villa are very lucky to have him. Because if you know, and I think Spurs could have had him a little while ago for something like 20-25 mil. But one of the big hitters, I'm
Arsenal
a little bit biased
at this moment in time. Well,
they come into the category of big hitters, don't they? Right, you know what I mean? Yeah, like Chelsea. I think I'd love to have seen him at Man United.
Well, he would have been a perfect one for Man U. We've spoke about him many times.
I love him.
I mean, this game right now, they know every stat that everybody does, and how fast you run, and what you're good at, what you're bad at, and the only thing they don't know is how to stop the player who can open the door, and Grealish can do that.
He's a throwback. Yeah. He's a throwback.
Well, he's a little bit like Huddy, wasn't he? Huddy used to get it, do that stuff.
He wasn't as good.
No, of course not. No.
But no, he's Jack Grealish is a throwback. What we lack in this country, we lack.
I mean, Alan was a tremendous midfield player. He had everything, energy, up and down. Yeah, but you used to go around the goalkeeper and knock it back for Ozzy to score.
Yeah.
You know, you liked him getting the stats. So his attributes, Grealish, the strong points.
Well, you've only got to see Jack Grealish walk onto the football field as captain of Aston Villa. His socks rolled down. People think he's arrogant. He's not. He's confident. He's got that wonderful ability to put the other team under pressure. I really thought that Frank Lampard was going to buy him. I really thought he'd be top of his list, and Chelsea could do with him. Chelsea could do.
But as John says,
player.
he's got to go to a big club. Surely Villa are going to be fighting for relegation again this year. You'd have thought.
But it's great to see loyalty in the game.
Well, it is. I agree.
You know.
But I'm sure for him to play in England's team, to be in a top team, he's going in for sure. To be in Villa, they have sort of little reservations.
Well, you shouldn't have to play for a top team if you're the best player to get into.
No,
the
we all
England
agree,
team.
but obviously
he's got what we ain't got. He's got what we ain't got. I think at England level, what I'm saying, he's got so much invention. He's got so much invention.
He doesn't. The England managers have never wanted invention.
No,
England managers want robots.
Yeah.
And we've been so robotic for so long.
Yeah.
And this England manager now has told him he only got picked the other day because someone dropped out.
Dropped
the squad.
out. Yeah.
So he's made it quite clear he don't want him.
Yeah.
And he's 25, the lad. He ain't 18, 19.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Harry gave him a big blast, Redknapp, the next couple of days after you said something. And everybody in football, other than maybe Southgate, thinks he's the best midfield player we got in the country.
Well, if you can't, you don't really have to know too much about football to see that the kid's special.
That's true.
Right.
You know,
I've gone on like social media. I'm always shouting on social media about different things, but I've said for a long time now, him and might have gone off the boil slightly, and the lights was on him. Then it come off him with the boy Maddison at Leicester.
Yeah, he's had a bad injury, John. Yeah, but you are right. He's second in line, Jack.
Yeah.
But he was busy the other day. He played well the other day, Madison. He was
did.
shooting,
Yeah, he
he
did,
was
yeah.
lively.
Well, he came in. He's good.
I think we're quite strong, England-wide. Young guys coming through midfield, you know.
I've heard this song somewhere before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been
Plays for Spurs,
1966. It's 56, 54 years or something since we've been in a final of any tournament, and we're going for it all again. It's rolling back the years.
That's
again.
key, what he said, Alan. That's key. He's 25. And I'm a believer in, it sounds a little bit crazy, what you're going to think, well, what's he on about? I've delved into for a long time, since the mid-80s, nicked stuff from other sports, nicked stuff from other philosophies, etc., etc. I'm a great believer in, it's like the Far Eastern thing with regards to 7-year cycles.
Yeah.
And that 7-year cycle, so he's coming up to his 4th cycle now, from 21 to 28, which is when you're at your absolute peak as an athlete. And I'm sure you're going to come to Bell, because later on, we was talking earlier, and I said that could be like a little bit PR. What I'll tell you, or what I'll say, is from a physiology and anatomy point of view, and we can probably fully concur with it. When you hit like 30, you start to go downhill in terms of, like, you start picking up little niggly injuries, etc., etc. So just quickly, Don, I think it's very important what Alan said.
Yeah,
at 25 now, he's got to say, right, sink or swim, let's throw him in.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we should have done years ago with him, we should have done years ago with Oddle, etc. You know, stop building something around him. That creativity. So he's the fulcrum of the side.
Now you've actually mentioned about Bale, we've got to talk about Tottenham. First game of the season, Everton have come down there, beat them quite comfortably, 1-0.
Yeah.
All the Tottenham fans were sitting there thinking, oh, what a long season this is going to be. Arsenal have just won a couple of things, so they're pig sick there. All of a sudden, they mentioned the Bale thing, they look like getting him. They get the guy, the left back from Real Madrid, who was out on loan at Sevilla, was voted the best left back in La Liga last year. They've got him. Now they're looking to buy another player, and all of a sudden they go and score 5 goals at Southampton.
Yeah.
Just give them a kick up the arse, basically, all the other players. Now they're saying, right, we're fighting for places.
Yeah.
And like, after day one, I think the newspapers picked up Jose is the favourite to be the first manager sacked.
I don't think
Now he looks like a manager who's probably going to win something.
We'll see what Bale's got to offer. I mean, he's only come back to Spurs because he's been kicked out of Real Madrid. Let's get that straight.
But we've all had fallouts from managers, haven't we? So if they don't fancy, they don't.
That's a manager, Don. I've never fell out with Rebbe or Ramsey.
All right, falling out with a girlfriend or something, or whatever. We've all had a fallout somewhere.
Wives, we won't go on to that. No. But no, he's unwanted. He's been kicked out of Spain, and now he's got to come back, and now he's got to prove himself again. Yeah. He's in a position now where he's coming into a Spurs team which ain't that great. They've sold their best player, Ericsson. He was, again. They've done it, and Jose's still, the jury's still out about Jose.
Yeah.
I know he loves himself, but that's no good. He's got a lot to prove.
But I'll be honest, me and you, we do like a little bet, a little flutter, whether it's on the horses or the football. I've got to think Spurs are going to get something somewhere. And it might be this cup they're in at the moment, where all of a sudden they've scrambled in the other day, they've won. And now if you think about it, you're a defender,
Yeah.
I'm a defender.
Yeah.
Can you imagine playing against like Harry
Front three.
Kane, Bow and Son?
Yeah.
He's got 5 goals in 2 games, Son.
Yeah.
Bow's got, Kane has got his couple. And you've got to think that when Bow is fit, which he should be in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
he's going to be coming out there to really prove something.
Would you,
Whether he
would-
can do
would
it or
you-
not, I don't know.
Would you rate them as good as the Liverpool front three? I don't think so.
Well, Harry Kane's won the
Golden Boot.
Golden Boot.
Yeah.
You've got like Gareth Bale's probably done everything that's possible. Song, to me, he looks better than anybody at the moment. So I would say that 3, yeah, they're right up there with Mane.
You like
Salah.
a takeaway, don't you?
I'll be honest. I thought for a while that the shape of the side's been hasn't suited the players. So adding Bale, it might change the formation a little bit slightly. You know what I mean? Me personally,
Well, they're not going to get slaughtered down the wings because Bale does track back. He's got a big engine, you know. He's there, he's up the front, he's up the back. He does it both ends, you know. He's not just going to be standing watching someone flash
how he's
by.
utilised, isn't it? It's going to depend.
And I mean, I think Harry Kane, I think when they made him captain of England, the one downfall was that being captain of England didn't actually help him.
No.
Because he started dropping back further, trying to help people out, where he should have just stayed up
I
top
agree.
and said, get the ball to me
I
and I'll
agree.
do the rest.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm quite friendly with his mum and dad. I know him quite well. And
Okay.
we got a lot of the families are intertwined like via third party, shall we say? And I said that to his dad, his mum and dad, like they've tightened it firm. And I actually said that to his dad. And funny enough, when he got the 4 the other day, Son, you notice Harry was coming deeper and deeper and deeper. I know he's laid the goal on. He's got like mega assists, hasn't he? But really and truly, it's part of his game, but it's not the be all and end all. What I'd like to see him stay higher, and then let's get the supply in, because he's going to thrive on the supply crosses coming in.
But I think with them players they've got now, all of a sudden he will have that little bit more of a luxury
More of a dimension,
to say, I'm
yeah.
a striker, I'm up the top, I'll get goals. And he, obviously when he gets loose, he can...
Yeah, once he gets on a
can
roll,
get jobs.
he's
He can
one
get
of the
jobs
governors,
done.
finishing wise.
So England now, let's talk about England. Let's talk about Southgate. Let's talk about our young guys coming through. We spoke about Grealish, we all agree with him. Madison,
Yes.
we liked. Greenwood, Foden, have we forgave them for their little...
I thought he handled it well, Southgate. If I'm honest, I know I'll dismiss him slightly as like he's one of them. I've said all along, right, and some of the people in this room might sympathise with it. I think it's prejudice against Cockney accent. They think we're all out of Buster. Do you know what I mean? And we've got a flower store outside Waterloo. It's the most persecuted regional accent in the country, right? He's got a safe suburban accent, but I will say to him, Mr. Southgate, he's handled it very well. He handled it very, and he's like now they've drawn a line under it, and it's up to them now. Like he said, they've got to play and earn their way back into his trust.
He said one way or the other when you watch his interview. He said one way or the other they were going home, whether it was for the COVID thing, or whether it was for getting caught with the
he handled it better than I would have done. Let me tell you,
young ladies. I mean, they were 2 crackers though, weren't they? I mean, be fair.
So
I can't possibly promise.
How crackers England had?
How could you swerve that?
Yeah. You've got to let the girls in the room.
So last week, anyway. Absolutely. Get them out the window. Yeah. Last week.
Tricks of the trade coming out here.
Last week, John. 44 goals, the biggest ever in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Out of the 10 matches was 44 goals.
No one.
Is it good play?
No,
bad
no one.
defending?
No one.
I've got him right on him now.
No one likes a smart ass, Don. Sorry, excuse me.
defenders.
No one likes a and I'm sorry to say I told you so. It's another one I've been screaming from the rooftops about the decline in the quality of defending now for 6, 7, 8, 9,
I mean, if we look at the
10
big,
seasons.
if we look at the big money centre half, we've got Harry Maguire. He's playing now. He's just scored an own goal. Only kidding. Anyway, how do we rate him? Every centre half now has somehow got to bring the ball out the back, do 2, 3 passes, link up here,
Play
and
1-2s with
and
the
they just
goalkeeper.
don't seem to be able to do the job that you was asked to do in your day.
It strikes me as someone who could get done too easy down the sort of ball he would have looked for. You know, a little one
Well, you imagine Vardy would
round the corner or
yeah.
a little one down the side of the box. He'd get done too easy.
So how much was he, Maguire?
85.
85. Then
Yeah.
you had John Stones, 50 mil. He couldn't even get in the 10.
No.
Now he's playing a little bit better now. You know, like they all want to sort of be like ball players now. In my day, it was Frank McClintock, Davy Webb. I could never imagine Webby coming out the back with the ball, but I know one thing: when the ball come in the area, he headed it out.
I think I said it on a thing last week, right? And I don't know if how this is going to come across, because you're talking. I'm talking from a coaching point of view, from a management point of view, but also someone. I've had a severe lesson in humility, and the hard way, and I earned me living in the lower divisions predominantly, right? But I've always said that the more, and I don't know if this makes sense, the more complete the coach, the more complete the footballer. What I can't help thinking now, too many of them now, they're playing the musical chairs game with the management, but they just like they want the finished article. And I'm looking at stuff, people like John Stones, he's crying out for help. He has been for a while now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And someone delving deep into his game, and you could do the bit with a flip chart.
Well, I don't know whether they're doing the coaching like the one-on-one things. Like, we all speak about goalkeepers, like they have their own little group, they're out there 3 or 4 of them, they got their own trainer. Now, when you get a centre half, it's like, well, hold on a minute, what do you want the centre half to do? Do you want him to head the ball out? Do you want him to get it under control? Do you want him to build attacks? A lot of it's one-on-one if they play 3 at the back.
Don, if you're asking me now in terms of like specifics, like being an ex-centre-back, I've got to say to you, me personally,
yeah,
that they keep talking about balance and the balance of the squad, and surely like your first priority should be balancing the side. And if you're asking me, I would want a defender to be able to defend first.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Does that? I don't know if that, you know what I mean. But
definitely.
Now what they want them coming out with a ball before they're worrying about doing what they call it, like the nitty gritty.
Well, what comes natural to us?
Yeah.
What we've been learning all our life.
I think also is, the big point is what you must ask. In layman's terms, if you're paying 85 million for a centre half,
Yeah.
are you telling me that he needs coaching?
Well, they need something.
Well, he should. At that
Van
stage,
Dijk don't need coaching. He's
No.
a Dutchman. He don't need coaching. The boy knows what to do.
that's the thing that intrigued me last night. Yeah. When he said Mourinho, he said, "I don't coach players. I coach teams."
Well, yeah.
So it ties in what you're saying.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, it's this coaching that our football, English football's in a mess because of coaches, basically.
Yeah, I couldn't agree
It
more.
hasn't, it's.
I couldn't agree more.
I said earlier over there, John.
Yeah.
When I come back from Seattle in the early '80s, and Charles Hughes had taken over the FA, took over the FA. The long ball game, Route 1 football would come in,
Yeah.
and we've never recovered. And that is why we're in trouble. Young footballers haven't come through. Real good footballers, we haven't had it. The last one we probably had before Grealish was Gascoigne.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
We have no
Yeah.
Gascoignes.
With that invention,
We got people like David Silva in this country, outstanding. Before him, Modric. We don't want these players in the English team.
Yeah.
We don't, because all our players have been coached.
In an ideal world, you'd have a nice mix of the two.
Absolutely, like we used to play at school. Go out and play.
Yeah.
Right, getting on to you guys both played for Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, one did. I tried.
He stopped the other
You
team.
can't go. Listen, I go on record. I just like we're playing spot the odd one out here. You know what I mean? Football demigod and under
We all
plenty
wore
with Miss
blue,
Will.
John. We all 3 of us wore blue.
Yeah, we all. Oh, no, we had
But I'm saying, we're talking about defenders, and at Chelsea, really, the other day, when you see Liverpool pressing them as quick as they did, putting them under intense pressure, and they kept doing it. You knew a mistake was going to happen. Unfortunately, it was a goalkeeper that did make the mistake.
Well, I tell you, sorry, no. We sat and watched the Champions League final together.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was intense, yeah.
From the kick-off.
Yeah.
Remember
It's the first time in my life I've ever seen the game start. When we all played, you had the centre forward up there, you knocked it back, and then they half sort of token gesture went there. Well, the first kick of the game, PSG, Bayern, whatever, they took it, and the Bayern players sprinted like as fast as you could to a person. He followed what? And that set the tempo of the whole game.
And that's exactly what Mane done against Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm not being
He
funny.
chased the ball.
Listen, I'm not being funny. I was doing that 25 years ago.
You
Pressing from
couldn't
the front.
run that
And
fast, John.
not that. No, I'm talking about coaching it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like pressing from the front. And I'll tell you who we took the lead from. Was a team actually came up against was Liverpool.
Right.
Well, we nicked a 0-0 at the Bridge. But under Rush and people like Dalglish and Johnson, who I played against, they would like swarm at you from the front and press from the front.
Well,
so it's not. What I'm saying is, it's not a new phenomenon.
No, Ian Rush was the first.
Yeah.
first man to defend from the front. He was the greatest centre forward to defend. He used to walk away and make our weren't interested.
And then bump,
lock on. But you see,
it's what man had done.
set a trap,
Yeah, but why? That's only happening. That happened then, fair enough. But now, they're just giving you the office to do it with this lovely little new rule that when you take the goal kick, the full-backs can come into the box and they're standing 4 yards to the left and 4 yards to the right of the goalie, and the goalie passes it to them. Now all of a sudden, okay, right. Now the Rottweilers have got to come in
I'll be fuming.
all together, and you
fuming.
snap and you get it.
Yeah.
And it's just a mistake every week waiting to happen. I think I must have seen it happen 50 times where there might be 8 goals come from it against. I think it's happened once where they've gone down the other end and scored. Why are we doing it?
Yes, that's 1 in 6.
Why are we doing it?
One in 6.
They're trying to say apparently that like what we'll do is we'll pass it to you, he'll come in, I'll pass it back to you, you put it, and they'll come in, and then they bring 4 players out of the game, you then bomb it behind, and now we've got a good attacking team, we're confident in the ball that we can keep it and get it there, and now we're getting you in a spot. Well, I don't know.
Well,
that might be all right for Man
I'll tell you the one the other
like
day was the Pickford one.
Oh yeah.
When you get it right, let's have it right. When you get it right, it looks good. But when you get it wrong,
well, they shouldn't go.
When you get it wrong,
goalkeepers are like American footballers. They're good with their hands. They're not good with their feet. We don't want them. Over the years, in the history of football, Gordon Banks was the greatest goalkeeper in the world because he used to use his hands all the time. He never used to kick the ball. He never used to get the ball, pass it to the right back and get the ball back. Goalkeepers today are getting involved in the play, and that is why it allows forwards to close them down, because you've got to have a chance here.
Absolutely, yeah. If you do it as a team.
Goalkeepers are notoriously thick.
You wouldn't be a goalie otherwise, would you? How could you go in there and get balls back? You know.
This is where the contradiction comes up.
Yes.
You know what I mean, with regards to I saw a session, must have been, 26, 27 years ago at the Arsenal London Coaches Association, which used to be, it was good, it was blinding to be fair. It was all the teams in London, coaches in London used to get together at the Arsenal, and then I think it was once a month, someone would put a session on. So O'Leary done a thing about George's thing, which he nicked up with Terry Venables, which he coined in Barcelona. But this particular one was John Cartwright, and he titled the session The Keeper, the Deeper Sweeper. And I saw that session all those years ago. So again, it's not a new phenomenon. What I will say is, what you shouldn't do is invite pressure, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, we'll know from an era where you basically, it's about territory and what they used to say, earning the right to play. I think if you invite pressure and it comes, you come unstuck like Pickford did the other day, it's put it this way, it's more damaging.
I think
more damaging.
I think one of the things is, obviously now, every time you watch a football game, it's like the first day of the season. The pitches look like Wembley, it's beautiful. In our day, Alan could show you a tape when he played at Stoke, you'd have thought you can't play football on this. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, mud bath.
So if you want to, we wouldn't have even tried to do the little pass in there, even if you were actually allowed to do it. It would have been a no-go, it would have been an impossibility. With the fields now, the balls are slightly a little bit lighter, go a bit quicker, all of a sudden you might get away with it. But as John says, why would you want to invite him in when like one rick at any point, a little bit of miscontrol, something, push it in the middle and the fella just gets in there quick, and you're a goal down. I can't see the logic in it. Pep Guardiola's brought it over here. Arteta is doing it at Arsenal now. Other teams are trying to do it. And I can't work out the other coaches, how they haven't worked out how to stop this. Because you're talking about the pressing. I know the pressing. Yeah. We all train in the mornings, 5 on 4, one man down, get close, stop them playing, nick the ball, attack quickly, and it's a walkover. It's the easiest day at the office anyone could ever have if someone wants to do that. Right. I can assure you, if I was playing up front and they'd done that little ball, I'd be in there like a rocket. Yeah. All right, I wouldn't get it.
No, you wouldn't get it. Play around it.
But you'd get it.
It's football people. You talk about coaching, you talk about systems, you talk about everything else. Football is a very simple game, complicated by idiots in this country. Right, yeah. Well, and football is all about giving the ball to your best players. If your best players have the ball, then you've got more chance of winning.
Yeah.
It's just so simple. And one of your best players is certainly not a goalkeeper.
That's a fair comment.
You keep the ball away from your goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We mentioned when we was away, you mentioned Phil Parks wouldn't be able to play with his feet. Peter Shilton, he would.
Every goalkeeper I played with in my career would not be able to confidently pass the ball out.
Tony, Peter, you never seen Benetti try to do that. Benetti would pick the ball up, he'd get the ball, and then he'd throw it out. Schmeichel was probably the best goalie over the last.
He'd have to. Catty would have to. I remember a round between Catty and Mickey Droy because he couldn't reach the halfway line, Peter, with his kicks.
Well, he couldn't see over Mickey's head.
Mickey said, just throw it.
So let's hypothetically say, like, if Brighton get beat today, and they play Man United. There's a goal there. No, I just missed it. If they play Man United again in the Cup midweek, then their next home game after that is Tottenham, and then you got the international breaks. Let's say they lost all them 3 games, and they sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Would you be prepared, us 3, to take the job?
What, the Man United job?
Yeah, I think we could do it. Don't you? I think we'd do a better job than what they're doing now. I really do, because
I don't think there's much chance of us getting a job anywhere. No, there's not.
We're out of work. A lot of people are out of work. Surely we get a job.
No.
It's all about credibility.
It's only a small club, isn't it?
It's all about credibility. Forget knowledge, it's about credibility.
Yes, absolutely. And we haven't really got a reputation
for credibility.
But I mean, but when you're like looking at games, right? This football game to me is quite easy, really. Yes. You get Grealish. The other player you buy is Traore. You've got 2 players, different players, but do different things. That the end result is a result. Like Traore either crosses, Grealish gets his free kicks, does other stuff, and then you build your team around. Okay, so if someone can actually stop Traore, now you get another type player who's a little bit tricky. You bring him on. You've got 5 subs on the bench. You know the manager now. He can bring on, bring off. And you've got to look at people who can make something happen. I mean, Bobby Charlton, when he was playing, how many goals did he score from outside the box? He used to come roaring through, score. I might see Firmino or something at Liverpool score one like that. You don't see too many. So I just think they've got like Man City can buy anybody, so they sort of juggle around like the sort of Mahrez. They get like whoever they want, who can do different type of things.
Earlier on you're talking about Chelsea, right? I saw a thing, when they, with the Liverpool game, I looked at that and I thought to myself, as an ex-centre-back, and with one of them, it was actually the full-back as well, where he's gone in tight and then the guy's laid the ball off, and then instead of following the runner, he's followed the ball, which has brought him half a yard. They've played the give and go. So there's your first starter for 10, like in terms of like an easily remedied error on the training field, and then the little dink, what we call a dink, and then you look at Mane's movement and another cardinal error, cardinal sin he's got across the fullback who's just recently signed a new contract. I've forgotten the kid's name with the dreadlocks.
Right.
He's got across, and then when you look at the back page photo, the gap was absolutely abhorrent between Mane, as he's actually made contact, it's on its way into the net, between Mane and the fullback where he's picked up across the foot. So you're looking at 2, we're talking about Premier League level now, right? You're talking about 2 very, very fundamental errors that could be easily remedied on a couple of drills on the coaching field, right? So the point being, if you look at that, the problems there that they've got, he's addressed certain areas of the field going forward, but he still hasn't addressed the problems at the back, Frank, for me.
Well, I think
for them to be making a challenge, because you're talking about Villa. I don't think Villa will have anywhere near a problem this year in terms of flirting with relegation like they did last year.
There's no doubt Fulham and West Brom at this moment in time. You have to say they look like they're doomed.
I'm going to throw West Ham in.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw West Ham in, and I'm going to throw Southampton in. I think three from them 4.
Southampton played all their games out, they'll get relegated. I mean, they proved it again the other day. They were superb away last year, and they started off. They can't play at home. But I mean, the relegation's going to be the same as it is every other year. We had a thing this year. We said it's going to be finished.
Well, we thought Brighton would get out of it.
It always goes to the last game of the season.
I felt Watford would get out of it. Obviously, they didn't. How can they beat Liverpool 3-0 and get relegated? What's going on here? I mean, they sacked the manager before games ago or 2 games ago.
It didn't make sense.
Ridiculous.
That West Ham game,
it just don't work. I mean, West Ham got out of jail. I don't think they'll get out of jail this time, personally.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of every now and again old school, like the rumour mill. They parted company with him after the West Ham game when he tore into a few, Pearson.
Right.
So you've got the modern train of thought, the modern thinking, the modern methods, and blah blah blah. But every now and again, we're all the same. We need a little reminder. We need a little rocket. And I think what he done, he tore into one or two, said certain things weren't acceptable.
Well,
they got a good idea at West Ham, and then they parted company with him straight after, which didn't make sense with the couple of game running. When you look at you're clinging on by your fingernails and looking to grind out a couple of results, I think they'd have been better off leaving him be until the end of the season.
So relegation now, Fulham, West Brom. You taking them two for sure, or? I know you're a Fulham man, Fulham fan.
I really don't care who gets relegated, to tell you the truth. It doesn't really matter, does it? Those who get relegated deserve to get relegated. It's simple as that. They've been saying for a long time that it's like the Premier League is 3 divisions in one. You got the top 6, even that's up for grabs now.
Yeah.
Arsenal and Tottenham are no longer
3 leagues within a league,
right. Everton have crept in there.
Spent well.
The way Wolves play. So it's got a different dimension to it now. But the teams down the bottom are always going to be down the bottom. Because you've got the likes of Steve Bruce, who's had about 10 jobs, and he'd always have a job where his team is always going to be in relegation trouble. Because he never gets a job with the top team. No. There's certain people.
I mean, one of the things
is it him or is it the culture, though?
It's the way it is. I mean, if he was good, Alex Ferguson is the best manager in the history of our game, and he's had Mark Hughes, he's had Steve Bruce, he's had.
The geezer there now, Ollie.
He's had about 6 players under him.
Yeah.
Brian Kidd.
Brian Kidd.
Why haven't any of them come through under his? If you can't learn the game under Alex Ferguson, then you ain't learning it under anyone. Because Scottish managers are the best as well. They give nothing away, as you know. You're Scottish, Don.
I'm born in London.
But
we're all Londoners here.
These managers, they just go from club to club to club to club, and they used to call players German, but managers are German now because they get a sack.
Yeah. There's a magic roundabout.
Football's the only game in the world where you get paid a massive amount of money for being a failure.
Rewarded for failure, Reward for failure culture,
Well, let's talk about the Carabao Cup, the last 16. We've got some incredible games. We've got Liverpool, Arsenal. They play in the league.
They took a liberty with my old firm, I've got to tell you. They took a liberty, one of my old clubs here,
How have they done that, the Orient? How have they... Apparently there is a rule in the thing that if indeed your team tests COVID, you actually have to forfeit the game, apparently, whether that is a fact or not. That's what I heard yesterday. Brighton are winning 1-0. Here you go, the Seagulls have gone to the front. My old team, by the way.
4-1 that.
We like
So get on Solskjaer to get sacked now, because they play again on Tuesday. Then they got Tottenham home. He's 16-1 on Betfair right now.
He don't like Ollie, does he?
And
he don't like Ollie. What's he done?
Well, no, Ollie's all right, but at the end of the day, I don't think United are going anywhere at the moment. And
running on the spot.
Brighton is one of my old teams, so we'll go there. But the Carabao Cup, I'm going to have a little bet on Brighton at 50-1. They play. Again,
if it don't come off, I'll give him his pound back.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a bit more than that, but I think it's possibly got some great games. Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea.
I looked at the betting on Tottenham and Chelsea this morning. Tottenham are 2-1, Chelsea are 5-4 at Tottenham. And now I can't work that betting out. How do they make Chelsea favourites?
Well, it's a false favourite. You know the coup. You know the coup with bookies. Sometimes they throw in a false favourite.
Well,
I think if he, especially if he gets in the side bow, if he starts in the side, I think they beat him.
I think he's a couple of weeks away, isn't he, Bale? Let's give everyone a little forecast of a bet. Man City are favourites for everything. The Carabao Cup, they're favourites for the league. Chelsea, they're third favourites. I'm going for a long shot, Brighton, for that Carabao Cup with 50-1. I'm with a couple of quid on that. Who do you think for the league, Al? You think City or Liverpool? Is there any other runners?
No, I think
Chelsea?
I thought, along with you, I thought Chelsea. I think Frank's not impressed me the first couple of games. He's
Well, Pulisic's not playing.
playing highlight game against Liverpool. I think it kind of put everything in its rightful perspective. Liverpool it was men and boys.
Reality check, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially at the bridge.
Yeah.
All right, Chelsea, the problem Frank has was when he took the job, he had that wonderful excuse that he couldn't buy any players, so he couldn't get a sack. But he's done well. He got in the fourth. If they beat Arsenal in the final of the other cup, it would have been a fantastic season for him.
Yeah.
But now he's got an excuse that all these players are not fit, and he got times and they got a gel and all. That's pure excuse for me. That's just an excuse about players.
But they're going to come forward, them players, aren't they? Werner, Ziyech, they're good players. The fella got a hat-trick the other day, all right, whoever it was against, who they played the other day, Barnsley. You know, they won 6-0. They can only come forward. You've got Silva coming in the back. You've got Chilwell going to be fit. They both had 45 minutes the other day. I think Chelsea can only... It's only a couple of games gone, but like, you know, I thought before, as when we were away, I thought, well, Chelsea have got to be the dark horses to sneak through and be something here.
On paper, they're good.
You know, and I could.
I'm going to go the polar opposite. I'm going to say 5th or 6th, no cups.
Chelsea.
I'll stick my neck out, Chelsea, and that's I was there for 6 years, so I love to see him do well. Always love to see him do well. You know that. But I would stick my neck out and say 5th or 6th, no cups, because I think Everton are going to become Everton, be in the picture. City, Liverpool, Spurs. I think Spurs.
Everton will have a big season for sure.
You're going back to Carabao. I fancy Spurs for it now. Now they've pulled in a defender, pulled in Bell, another one. Like I said, no one likes a smart arse. I've been saying 3-4 years. No, the centre backs. I've been saying the centre backs. So when you do something on social media, they go, oh, and all you're trying to do is help or give you observations. You know what I mean? Impart a bit of what I call informed opinion, as opposed to pundits on the radio who've never kicked a ball in anger. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
so they're going, oh, like I said a thing about Dele Alli. He's got from being one of my favourite players to like swanning around in a roller with a flat screen TV in the back. You know, what's he thinking, the kid? Yeah, and he needs help. A great player if he gets the help, right? But I've been saying for ages they need to address the centre back situation, because for me there was too often where they were off the pace and they were getting exposed, especially with the formation they were playing.
Tell me one thing before we close up for the day. Who do we feel will be the first manager to get the tin tack? I'm going with.
You're going with Ollie.
You're going with Ollie, aren't you?
I've been informed it's 1-1 now. The good news about that, I've got both teams to score in a bet, so I'm quite happy. Thank you, guys.
Man United will win that 3-4-1 now.
Oh, they're going to roll him. I don't know. I think Ollie's. You know, everyone's thinking obviously David Moyes. Everyone's looked at Jose. Jose's out the picture now because he's got the two guys coming in. They're going to start winning games.
They can't sack Jose.
I'll tell you what they ain't got now with regards to recruitment. Now, once you've got recruitment and you can have a dabble in the thing, you've got no excuses anymore. No. And if you are who you say you are and who you think you are, right, you should say, right, you know what I mean, I've got the cojones now, we're going to win something, we'll do something, you understand?
It definitely does seem about who's got the money wins.
Yeah, I mean, if you held a gun to my head, I'd say they'll be looking for someone to blame over in the East End, so I'd say Moyes. Because I've sack him again. How bad that's going to be?
It's coming up to Christmas.
Well, yeah.
Get the sack, why not?
If you keep getting weighed on now, if you keep getting weighed on.
Absolutely. You know, again, he had a chance of a lifetime at Manchester United and he blew it. He didn't listen to Ferguson. He got the sack there, and he's got the sack ever since. He should have stayed at Everton, the man. You know.
So do we think that Burnley guy, Sean Dyche, should get a good job somewhere?
Sean Dyche.
They've got no players there. They're playing youth kids. They've got 3 players who are injured.
I said about 2 years ago I'd like to see if he can go in and put his foot down, right? Because this is off the record, but on the record. The manager supposedly, allegedly, doesn't have final say on who's signed there. Right?
I think
someone else
deal
does.
maybe for £1 million for somebody.
If Dyche can go in and put his foot down and say, and this is what I was talking to you earlier about with the Bell thing, football people should be left alone to make football decisions. And if Sean Dyche can go in and put his foot down and say, I'll run the gaff from top to bottom, I want no interference, I'd love to see him at West Ham.
Buy who I want.
Buy who I want, sell who I want, etc., etc. Create a culture within the club leave him be, let him do the job, don't interfere, and I think they will crack on. Wonderful.
I think he thinks he is a West Ham, he's not saying shit.
With a clarity.
But it's, you've got to give it to him. He's done miracles.
Unbelievable.
Minor miracles, yeah.
A lot of managers,
And they've been playing decent stuff as well.
they're decent side.
I mean, your son Anthony, who coaches the USA under-21 team, he had the New Zealand boy up front, wasn't it?
Yeah, Woods up front, he's decent. You know, they play, what they do is exactly what we've been talking about. They play to their strengths.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, Sheffield United and them are pretty similar in as much as put a bit of pressure on English managers. You've got a budget of
There's another one.
nothing.
Chris Wilder's another one. He ain't had the credit for being for the very innovative
they were brilliant last
formation,
year,
and
up
they've
to
only just
lockdown.
yeah.
They really
exactly. And it's only the fact that they started to realise it was turning over a few faces with regards to very innovative formation and style of play. And I think it's right that he gets commendations for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been talking for like 35-40 minutes, and we want to talk about black cab drivers stuff. Alan has got family in it. I've got lots of friends. We've got a lot of footballers that are black cab
Yeah, a lot of
drivers. You know, like
ex-players,
Terry Bullivant, Phil Nutt at QPR,
Johnny Bumstead, Paul Roberts, Derek Richardson.
Yeah, no,
Trevor Aylock's just turned it in, retired to Kent.
So we've got a lot of guys there. Obviously, things are going to get.
Alan Dickens. This is what you've got to come to terms with, Al. This is what he's got to come to terms with. Right? He judges everyone by his own standards. We weren't all kissed on the forehead. You was kissed on the forehead when you was born. By God. God either kisses you on the forehead or he leaves you in the.
I had the marking one day with QPR.
All the best.
When's this going to stop? When's this going to stop? Come
I
on,
heard you was out for 3 weeks with twisted blood. He was out for 3 weeks with twisted blood.
People don't realise how good he was. I mean, he was unplayable.
I would imagine
Unplayable.
the best footballer I played against the cab driver was Mickey Adler.
Yes, yeah, one of the first. He was one of the first, Mickey. He was a good lad, Mickey. He used to live opposite me. He's a great lad. Great. He was one of the first to pass out after packing up playing. Yeah.
So anyway, we're all trying to sort of help out a little bit. So if everyone needs a cab outside, there's loads of them on the ranks. Just jump in one as opposed to get, the train.
I won't put the meter on until we get to Gloucester Road.
So anyway, that's the end of the football talk.
It's our debut.
It is
It's our debut together.
I hope you've all enjoyed it. We're gonna come back a little bit later and talk about the QPR game. We've got Middlesbrough today. We've got a few people we've got to sort of catch up with, as in Warnock, Grant Hall. They're coming back to the bush, and should be an interesting game for us. But from me,
You can't beat a return to the bush.
From me, Don Shanks, John Sitton, and Hudson, I'd like to say thank you for coming along and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all in the near future. Stay
Pleasure.
safe and good luck, everybody.
Pleasure. Cheers, Don.